Hello to Katie Jayne. How are you today?
Hello, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Let me chat to you today. So, can tell me roughly how long have you been a singer-songwriter for?
It's an interesting one because I was quite late to the game, but I think it's probably been a little bit over 10 years for me now. Funnily enough, I actually started my career in England. I moved there when I was about 25, and I met I moved to a town called Bournemouth, and I went to an open mic night. And on that night, I met Carlos, who was my duo partner in a band called Southern Junction. So, from being friends with Carlos, we started a duo. And our first gig was actually it's just been on in England, the Isle of Wight Festival. We played there in 2015 with the original lineup of Fleetwood Mac, and we got to play the C2C Festival at the O2 London Arena. We got to play Buckle and Boots, and it was sort of an underground scene back then too. I know it's exploded in England just like it has in Australia, but yeah, it was sort of where I cut my teeth, and I have so many fond memories of my career in England and just England itself. So yeah, I've been home for a little while now, and I've gone solo, and yeah, so far so good. So
Yeah, country music is getting very popular in the UK. So, what's it like releasing your debut single called Sunlit Avenue?
well, funnily enough, that was actually like a leftover song from my time in England. I did a bunch of demos. We one of our members, Harrison, he had his own studio, which is very lucky for us, and we recorded all these demos of these songs that we'd written. We sort of locked ourselves down for 20 hours in the studio, and we come up with all this stuff. And one of those songs was Sunlit Avenue. So when I came home, I was pretty lost. Like, I didn't really know what to do. Going solo, I didn't have a lot of confidence. And one of my friends was like listening to the demo of Sunlit Avenue. She goes, "Just release this. Like, don't overthink it." So I got Harrison to produce it in England, and I recorded the vocals in Australia. And that was my very first single in Australia. I think 2018 we released that one. So that's pretty cool.
So, we're going to move on a couple of years now. So, can you tell me more about the single that released called "Why Can't You Love Me"?
Yeah, why can't you love me? So it's been a bit of a journey for me through the music industry. I put myself through university to try and understand how it works and get a little bit smarter, because it just wasn't really the kind of place that, like, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get eaten alive. So I tried to self-teach myself as much as possible. But when it came to that song, I actually had released a song just before that, and it was probably quite an error on my behalf, but I was very frustrated at the industry and frustrated at like how it worked. You had to be with the right people, have the right team, like that kind of thing. And I was feeling very lost, very frustrated. So I released that song. It's called SOS. I released it on my own. I didn't have a team, and it flopped, and it did so bad. And like, it was such a lesson for me, because I just thought, I was just frustrated, and trying to work things out, which is fine. But when that song flopped, I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can't I just be a part of this industry? And that's how I wrote Why Can't You Love Me? It was my love letter to the music industry, saying, let me in. Why am I not good enough? Like, why can't I be involved? And funnily enough, that song went really well. But I had also reassembled my team and made sure that I was a bit smarter. And yeah, that song really resonates with a lot of people. And you would think it's about a boy, but no, it's a love letter to the music industry.
You must have been very disappointed that you did that single. SOS didn't go well as planned for you.
Well, it's funny now because so many people request it and we don't play it. And I'm like, should I be putting this back in the set? It's all very confusing, but it's a great song.
Well, I guess you could re-release it at some point and reimagine it. May do better time second time around, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I've got so many new songs ahead of me. I think putting it in the live set would be really fun, because it's a real like a drunken sing-along type vibe. So we might just do that in the new year.
Stick it in there. People enjoy it. So
Yeah.
can you tell me more about the single that released called Boys Lie?
Yeah, so Boys Lie actually really changed a lot for me. It was written when I came home from England. I like I said, I was a bit lost, and the first thing I did was go to the Academy of Country Music. It's like a workshop we have every year here in January, leading into the Tamworth Country Music Festival. And emerging and inspiring artists can go to the Academy of Country Music, and it's like a 10-day intensive course, and it's honestly life changing. I learned a lot about stagecraft there and songwriting, and a part of that was co-writing. So I co-wrote Boys Lie at this school, I guess you could call it, with Lynn Botel, who's the director. And it's lived with me for so long. And the reason we ended up recording it as part of this project, it was the first one in this project. It actually kicked off the whole thing. We did a 10-song project, and we're up to releasing, I think, song 8 now. So it's been a bit of a journey. And Boys Lie was the one that we chose to start with because it was the one that so many people remembered. That song's been with me since 2017. So we were playing it at gigs, and I'd have people say, "Oh, I saw you at such and such gig, 2 years ago, and you were playing this song," and they describe Boys Lie, and I'm like, how did you remember that? So I thought, it'd be a bit silly of me not to put that one out, really, if so many people are remembering it just from seeing it live.
So I guess you enjoy country music. So what made you become a country singer?
I love country music, definitely. You know what? Growing up in Australia, country music was kind of like a daggy thing. It was my little secret, so I didn't really tell anyone. Like, I grew up on, Keith Urban, Tim McGraw, The Chicks, like all that kind of stuff. And I just never told anyone I love country music until I was in America in my 20s, early 20s. And I'll never forget this. It's crazy. It's like one song can change everything. I was driving along in the car, and on the radio, the regular radio, so there was no hiding, the song "The House That Built Me" by Miranda Lambert. It just came on like it was the most normal thing in the world to have a country song on the radio. And I'd never heard that song before, and I was fascinated just by the songwriting that song. Like, obviously it's an amazing song, but also what it did for me was go, oh, I don't have to be ashamed of being a country music fan. And as soon as I come home to Australia, that was sort of it for me. I found the scene, I found where the festivals and the gigs were, and I found other country music fans. And that's how I started my love, like being out with my love for country music, was as a country music fan. And then as I progressed, I got to become a country music artist, which is the coolest thing in the world, really, looking back on it.
Very cool being a country artist. So can you tell me more about the single that was called Too Big for Your Boots?
Well, that one's fun. So, Too Big for Your Boots. Actually, this was a great exercise for me in terms of writing as a solo songwriter without an instrument. So I'm not great at guitar. Like, I've got mine sitting behind me. I love playing it. It's fun, but I know that there's so many other people that are like so much better at guitar. And so I've co-written a lot of songs, mainly just because I want someone who can play guitar really good, that like we can get a good song out of it. But Too Big for Your Boots was a really cool exercise that I had with my producer. I just sort of met him, and to test him out, essentially, I sent him Too Big for Your Boots in full, lyrics and melody to a click track. I was like, this is the song, no instrumentation around it. And what he turned that into was amazing. Like, a bit of back and forth, but it was exactly what I had in my head that I didn't have the ability to play the instruments for. So I thought that was really cool. But it's essentially just like this fun little story I had in my head about this redneck romance in the deep south of America where, the guy gets busted cheating and she's not going to have that. And he's getting way too big for his boots.
I guess, so how long have you been with your producer at the moment?
Good question, because we've done 10 songs together over probably the last 2 years. It's been a it doesn't feel like a very long process, but when I think about it, like we've been releasing a single every 3 months just to keep consistent, and we recorded in 2 batches. So we did 4 songs, and then I came back and did another 5, and then I went back up and did just one more track. But so we had 10 songs. There's still sort of, the ones that we're releasing now, there's still 2 that are sitting with my producer to be mixed and mastered and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would say probably a 2-year kind of journey with Jared Adlam, and it's been amazing. He's a great producer.
You must enjoy going to the recording studio.
Yeah, I love it. I have to fly up to Brisbane to do it and like get a car and drive an hour, and it's this whole process, but it's great.
Very costly though, but as long as you enjoy it, that's the main thing. So do you get anxiety going to recording studio or going to new playing out new gigs or festivals that you played that before?
I definitely get nervous, but in terms of anxiety in a mental health capacity, I experience it just on a very human level. Like I know that getting up on a big stage can be totally terrifying, but it's also so rewarding as well. So I think for me, anxiety stems from just the everyday. Like your brain is sort of wired to fight or flight. So whatever is happening in your life, your brain's kind of looking for a reason to kind of get like scatter, you know what I mean? So it's constantly checking for a threat. And if you don't know how to keep your brain in check, that it can really get out of hand. And I found that was like, for majority of my life, I suffered from mental health and I didn't even know. So like I had severe depression, anxiety, PTSD, and oh wow, like, and once I got diagnosed and started treatment, and I do talk therapy every 2 weeks. So I really feel like I have a team behind me, and I feel like the world is a different place now that I have those tools and I can chase down my career because I have therapy and I have treatment and I have the tools to deal with what my brain is kind of not wired to do. So I'm very lucky that I get to do this job, and I'm very lucky that I have the support I do to kind of, be able to keep fighting through it because being a musician, being an artist, you get rejected a lot. You get left in the dark. It is a very up and down career, but I'm so lucky that I have help because I just don't know how I would navigate this if I didn't, if I was still left untreated.
So last month was in May was anxiety month. So can you tell me more about dear anxiety?
It's such a beautiful song. I'm so grateful that we're talking about it. Actually, it's one of those songs that it was kind of given to me. I don't know how to sort of explain it, but my co-writer Luke Nowak, he and we met at the Tamworth Country Music Festival, and as musicians do, I remember the moment where like sat on the floor, leant up against a bed, and he goes, "Oh, I've got a song," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, show me this song," and he shows me "Dear Anxiety," and something about that song lived with me for years. And I remember at the time I was like, "Oh, can we finish writing this together?" And he's like, "Yeah," but we never caught up. We never got to do it. But the song didn't quit. And I went home to my guitar and I remembered the melody and the lyrics, and I was figuring out the chords, and I was so obsessed with this song. And at that point I was untreated. So I didn't know why it resonated with me so much, because at that point I was like, anxiety, what's that? But I felt that song on a cellular level. And eventually, when we were looking for songs to bring in for this project, I FaceTimed Luke. We hadn't spoken in 6 years or something, and I FaceTimed him, and I'm like, "Hey, like this," I played him the song, and he almost had forgotten it. He's like, "Whoa!" Like he was just blown away that song had come back to him, And I just said, like, "I love this song so much, and it means so much to me now, and I'd love to take it in the studio." And he gave me his blessing, and he's heard the song since then, which is a great moment to share. We caught up at the Tamworth Country Music Festival this year, and I showed him the finished product, and we've just put up some videos of that too. So if you wanted to check that out, that's on my socials. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's his story that became my story that becomes your story. So I think it's really special.
Now you're going to release a few more singles from your project. So are you looking forward to releasing your debut album in the near future?
Yeah, so we're trying to work out whether this is going to be the debut album or whether this is just going to be perhaps a physical CD that we use as a merchandise offering, because you only get one debut, and this has just, it's been a project for the longest time. I don't know what to do with it yet. So watch this space, but we will be releasing the last song off of it at the Tamworth Country Music Festival in January in 2026. So it'll be fully complete by then.
So I know you're an independent artist. So what's it like being an independent artist for you?
It's tiring because as an independent artist, I have to pay for everything. And to do that, I go to work 9 to 5. I actually didn't think I'd ever get a job, until COVID hit. I sort of realized, I had to move with family, and I had to reassess a lot of things. And getting a job was a lot of people will tell you as a musician that getting a job, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't have a plan B. But I wish I had done it earlier, because the freedom that it's given me financially and creatively, like I don't need a lot to live off. So like I don't have a fancy job or anything. I've just got a regular job that pays a regular amount, but I am so hyper focused on saving that money to reinvest into my music that it means that I never have to compromise when it comes to creativity. I can go to the producers I want to go to. I can make the music videos I want to make. I can take opportunities sometimes that maybe, you know, aren't helping me stay fed, because I am housed, I am fed from the day job. And I just feel so lucky and so happy that I get to do music on my own terms. And yeah, it's whatever I want it to be. So that's pretty cool.
So, how did you come across Nardia Drayton at RTC Records?
It's funny because Nadia, actually, we were talking about SOS and how the song flopped. I was with Nadia originally, and I was sort of like poached by another person. Like I was very impressionable and a bit silly, and I was poached, and that didn't work out quite like they promised it would work out. So that's when I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to release this myself. Flopped. And that's when I went crawling back to Nadia, and I'm like, because she had always believed in me and always believed in my music. Even when I was poached by this competitor, she reached out to tell me how beautiful she thought the song was. And I went back to her for Why Can't You Love Me, and I haven't left her since. So, you know, I got smart, and she really is just such a wonderful, genuine person who has my best interests at heart. So it is nice to work with a team that's really on board.
So, what's it like to perform at the Tamworth Country Music Festival?
It is the best. We actually just got my schedule today. So I think I've got about 6 shows so far. I'll add probably another 2 onto those. But it's crazy, it's hot, it's busy, it's tiring, it's joyful. You know, I do this running program every year to get prepared, because we could be playing a 3-hour full band show outside during 40-degree heat. Like that's the kind of thing that you can expect at the Tamworth Country Music Festival, and it goes for 10 days. So you just rinse and repeat. You don't get a lot of sleep, but you have a lot of fun.
So you mentioned you got a band. So what are who are the other people in your band that you got with that play along with you?
Yeah, so my OG is my bassist, Heath Sketchley, and he just keeps everyone in line. He's very steady. He's got a really calming kind of personality. Our drummer at the moment is Aidan Smith, who we're hoping to get on board properly full time, because he's such a gun. He's so talented. We've got guitarist Joey, who's new. We call him the Unicorn, actually, and we just played a prank on him on stage at a recent show where we call him the Unicorn. So I got AI to generate like his profile picture as a unicorn, and we got the band to put on these shirts mid set, and we waited to see how long he would figure it out. And it was so funny, and there's video online if you want to see that. And Jochen, so we have Jochen I've known for a really long time, actually. He's been around in a bunch of bands, and it's so funny because he's a part of one of the bands that like inspired me to get up on stage. And now that I have him in my band, it's amazing. Like he's really great at harmonies, and he's just such a solid player. So yeah, I love those boys. There are a few other players that we have in and out depending on availability, but I'm pretty lucky at the moment with the people that I have on stage with me.
So I guess, do you enjoy being a part of a band, or do you prefer to be on your own?
It's definitely difficult because I have to sort out everything. You know, I get jealous of my players because all they have to do is turn up, whereas I have to sort the flights out. You know, we're going down to Tasmania in October, and I'm like staring at this. The logistics of all that I have to sort out is sometimes quite overwhelming. But when we get on that stage and I'm with people who genuinely want to be there and genuinely care, I think, about my music, it's a really joyful moment. So it's definitely worth it.
So have you got any gigs coming up?
Yeah, so on the 11th of July, we're actually going to be in Tamworth. They have a mid-year festival. So we've talked a lot about the Tamworth Country Music Festival during this call, but every winter they have like a mid-year festival, and it's a smaller scale, but it's quite fun. It's called Hats Off to Country, and it's, you know, because it's winter, you're not wearing your cowboy hat. So we're going to play at the Long Yard on the 11th of July, and then we're going to go play in Sydney, which I don't get to play in Sydney a lot, so I'm very excited about that. We're playing at the Vineyards Vineyard Hotel in a suburb called Vineyard on the 26th of July. So that would be awesome as well.
Any thoughts coming back to the UK?
Yes, I desperately want to get back. I was actually just reaching out to an old friend of mine who's playing in there's a Night in Nashville tour that's happening right now, and they're coming to Australia, and I'm like, hey, like, you coming to Australia? Like, you know, let's link up. But if I can get back there, I would get back there as soon as I possibly can. I miss the UK, and like I was saying before the call, I miss the UK summer. It's one of my favorite things in the world. So enjoy it for me, please, because it's terrible down here.
It'd be great to see you back in the UK. So, country music getting very popular.
Oh, I love it. I definitely love to be back because you know I was doing country music in the UK when it was so small. You know, Buckland Boots had just started. FSA Fest was a thing back then, and you know the O2 the C2C, like I think it was in its formative years, and now I can only imagine how huge it's grown and how many amazing gigs that you have over there. So yeah, I'd love to, if anyone's listening right now and they want to book me, please book me because I want to come back so bad.
I'll put the word out. So,
Yes, please.
Finally, can you tell me this is where can I find you on your social media?
You can find me anywhere that you hang out on socials, as long as you put a Y in Jayne, so KATIE JAYNE. If that's too hard, just go to katiejayne.com.au and all the links to everywhere that you hang out. Like I'm on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We put a lot of shorts up there. So yeah, find me wherever you hang out and I'll meet you there.
Thanks for letting me chat to you today.
Hey, thank you so much. It's good to see you again.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Goodbye.